You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
If you have not been tuning in before, my goodness, you've missed out on a lot. Broke boy, but with potential. What made you realize, this soft life is for me?
I deserve it. Because men money is special. I'm single.
But you don't like to be alone now. I'm looking for a guy to break my heart.
Well, as long as they're Nigerians now.
Watch Slay Queen Nigeria, only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream this evening. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the Tyler Robinson. That's the 22-year-old that was caught. He the one that took the shot and unalived Charlie Kirk. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. And also Trump, he's not trying to bring the country together at all. And that in itself, especially with their history and the way they get down, that's not really a good thing what he's doing, because the president's supposed to bring the country together, because countries can split apart. And you know from history that when countries fall, they don't fall just from a force from the outside. They fall from within first, then they get so weakened that a foreign power will attack, and then that's usually how they're overtaken. That's really what happened to the Romans and all of that. And if you study the Roman Empire, all the steps that the Roman Empire was taking, this country has been taking verbatim. So we're going to talk about a lot of that here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all well. It's a Friday, so I'm not going to try to keep y'all too long. I'm not going to do that. Rhonda, you got the book in? Okay, Rhonda. Thank you for that. And yeah, get the book if you can. This is. Well, hold on. I think the other paperback. Where's my paperback? I know it's somewhere around here. It shows up a little bit better on camera than my hardback cover. Where did it go? It's somewhere around here. Oh, there it go. It's underneath all my stuff here, right? So, yes, get our new book, Us versus Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. Make sure you pick that up on Amazon right now, ladies and gentlemen. It just came out September 1st. And I appreciate everybody that bought a book. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's one of the best ways you can support us is, buy the book. If everybody here will buy a book, that'd be some great support right there. Also, appreciate everybody downloading the ADNC app. That's also greatly appreciated. We recently shot the new intro for Slay Queen, the one in South Africa. Working on getting that edited, and then we're going to start the episodes in South Africa. So we got Nigeria, South Africa. And then hopefully we can circle back around and create this other show I'm trying to work on. I think this show will be more so U.S. based. So we're working on the app much as possible. Now you say these folks are the descendants of Rome. Some of them are, right? Some of them are. But let's get into it, because I want to hold y'all too long. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know y'all some busy people and y'all got things to do and oh, Aqua. Okay, Aqua. All right. I got you. All right. So as you know, a few days ago, Charlie Kirk was at Utah Valley University on a college tour. He allows people to debate him. It's something that we have seen him do for a while. And we know that while Charlie Kirk was just starting his event, had about 3,000 people there. Now we know Tyler Robinson is his name. And let's go ahead on and put Mr. Tyler Robinson up on the screen. Let me see here. There's a few things we want to talk about tonight, though. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get to it. I knew had to go do something. All right. So Tyler Robinson named a suspect in Charlie Kirk shooting and how he was caught. All right. So this is Tyler Robinson. Now Tyler was not a gang member at all. Tyler was from Utah. Tyler was 22 years old, from a Republican state, college student. He had a white father, and we'll get to his white father in a minute. So yeah, I mean, all the things that, Charlie Kirk would really talk about with the black community, I mean, this particular violent act that happened to him, a horrific act, it wasn't perpetrated by the people that he railed against. Okay, so it said Tyler Robinson, the man suspected of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk during the campus event at Utah University, had eluded authorities for more than a day. However, after his father recognized him from the photographs distributed by authorities, a series of events ultimately led to the 22-year-old Robinson being taken into custody. They say while there are many unanswered questions about the killing, they say which officials have called a political assassination, information from officials and those who knew Robinson have begun to assemble a portrait of the alleged gunman. They say here we know about Robinson, how the shooting was carried out and how he was caught. So it said Trump initially announced that the arrest, stating on Fox and Friends that I think we have a high degree of certainty we have him in custody. Authorities confirmed the news, it said during the press conference on Friday morning, with Utah Governor Spencer Cox stating in his open remarks, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, we got him." All right. So it said Cox said that Robinson's father recognized his son and distributed photographs. He told Robinson to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but later changed his mind. Said the father then called the youth pastor, who is also a U.S. Marshals Task Force officer, and said the officer advised the father to have Robinson stay in place. And said the information was then conveyed to the FBI. And Cox thanked Robinson's family, who did the right thing. So this is Tyler right here, right? That's Tyler. All right. Once again, not a gang member. And said during the press conference, Cox said that when law enforcement identified Robinson, they also interviewed Robinson's roommate, who showed them a message between Robinson and his roommate. The content of those messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point. It said leaving the rifle in a bush. Now it said the message also refers to engraved bullets and had a mention of a scope and a rifle being unique. It said the rifle is an older model, imported Mauser 30-06 caliber bolt action rifle wrapped in a towel. Multiple law enforcement sources had told the news. It said location firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. Okay, so they said that FBI Director Cash Patel said law enforcement caught Robinson within 33 hours of the shooting or on the scene when the shooting occurred within 16 minutes. Now they say what movements of the suspected shooter reveal. Okay, so we just kind of going through it. You know, of course, what he was wearing, all of that. The video, of course, like I said, that's him running. After that, on the shell casings. They said his 3 unfired cases, 1 red "Hey Fascist" catch. Another one is an unfired case rated "Oh Bella Child," whatever, seemingly referring to an anti-fascist, song popularized following the World War II. And another unfired say, if you read this, he said, "You are gay." Okay, I don't know, why would you write that on there? That's kind of weird. It said the meanings of the writings of the cases are unclear. It's also unclear if the writings are meant to be a misdirection or distraction for investigators. All right, so he wrote that. It said what they know about him. And it said Robinson mentioned during a dinner conversation with family members that Kirk will be visiting Utah Valley University. They said Robinson and the family members discussed why they didn't like Kirk and his viewpoints. And the family members stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. This is what the guy said, his family. His officials said Robinson was not enrolled at Utah Valley University and lived in Washington County, Utah with his family. Said Robinson is currently enrolled in Dixie Technical College. It's in Utah, a trade school where he purportedly working toward becoming an electrician, according to 2 people who knew him. All right. So they say he wasn't in class that day. They said prior to that, he went to Pine View High School in St. George. They said graduated in 2021. Okay. So they said that, they said he's stunned to hear about this attack. They described him as friendly, but a little bit more reserved. All right. They said they never heard him talk politically. They said I never heard him talk about guns. So he wasn't talking about guns. They described him as a good kid. They described the Robinsons as very loving parents, and they just seemed like very hardworking and down to earth. That's what people are saying about him. Okay? They were just very quiet. There's another thing they're saying, right? Talking about the clothing, we don't care about that too much. It's clothes. Talking about there was like 7,000 tips and completed some 200 interviews with that. So the thing is, they gave out the reward, as we know, $100,000 reward and all of that to find this guy. And so we know this is basically his movements and all of that. And I'm not gonna read this verbatim all the way through, but this is the guy that did the shooting. Now, those who support Charlie Kirk, let me talk to you for a minute. It's a couple of developments actually with y'all that really is kind of interesting. So I had one of them. You know, I posted this actually on X, and you know what? Let me show you the exchange better than I can tell you. Let me go to our X page real quick. Give me a second. I'm gonna show you more than I can tell you. So, okay, all right. Let me pull this up on the screen. I'll show you exactly what was said. All right. Think this is no, not that one. This one. All right. So I said 22-year-old Tyler Robinson was arrested for killing Charlie Kirk and said we need to have more discussions about white-on-white violence. Tyler had a white father in the home. Tyler doesn't look like a gang member to me. Because that's the narrative that's put out there, that all the black gangs, the gang members. Okay, cool. So this one person said, you think this absolves what the black inner city community does to each other and others on a daily basis? He said, get real. I said, a black person didn't commit this horrific act of violence. I said, it was a white male that did this to another white person. I said, don't white victims matter? I said, we need to, solve white-on-white crime. That's what I said. I mean, why don't white victims matter? Why are you always worrying about black people and what they're doing and black victims? Let people like me worry about the black victims. You worry about the people in your community. Now this one was where I said you should be charged for hate speech. I'm like, and this supposed to be a Republican talking to me? It says statistics prove that by far black on black, followed by black on everybody. Now he say hate speech. What was hateful about this? This is a fact. The man's 22 years old. His name's Tyler Robinson. He was arrested for unaliving Charlie Kirk. That's a fact. It said we need to have more discussions about white-on-white violence. We don't discuss that enough. Tyler had a white father in the home. That's a fact. I said Tyler doesn't look like a gang member to me. That's a fact. So all this was factual, right? And what I said, I didn't say nothing about nobody's color, nothing. Okay. So he said, followed by black on everybody else violence, and many times and more than any other group. You say, get your head out of your black, or you see that there, and look at reality. Stop making yourself victims of everything. Everybody. This is my post. How am I making myself a victim? I didn't even mention black people victimhood. But yet, now y'all understand why the threats came to the HBCUs. We mentioned in the story, we mentioned in facts, we mentioned in all of that. Tyler wasn't a gang member. Tyler's 22 years old. He was arrested for what he did to Charlie Kirk. We say we need to have more discussion about white-on-white violence. He have a father in the home, and yet you go to black people. Not that we ain't discussing black people. Then this one, black people. So then I told this person, I say, so you turned into a liberal and no longer support the First Amendment because he's talking about I should be charged for hate speech. I mean, nobody can get charged with that. I say you dishonor Charlie Kirk because he would have never advocated against free speech. I say, why can't we discuss white-on-white crime? Don't white victims matter? It's what I said to the person. So they respond, say, what are you on? And you just prove how judgmental and self-righteous you are. How am I judgmental and self-righteous? This is the post. I want y'all to see the psychology of the people this is how they feel. Okay, this is their psychology. This is the post. This is facts. No judgment there. But black people. I told him about he wants to clamp down on free speech. You say you just prove okay. You say I thought CK was the best because he was debating and spreading and not spreading hate. I'm a big supporter of Freedom Convoy that mainstream media said was all white. It's when in fact all are welcome. Okay, fine. So yeah, I'm just telling y'all that in itself. This was the post, but yet they went to black people. So now you see why the HBCUs were threatened, okay? I want y'all to see this. This is psychology that they go into. Instead of confronting the problems in their community, they immediately go to black people. But if you think about Black Wall Street, and the reason why Black Wall Street originally was attacked was because when they got back from World War I, and this has been documented accounts, they looked over there and they saw how black people were living. Now, they got problems in their own community. They got financial issues, okay? And they looked over and they say, how is it that we're come back from the war and we're suffering financially, basically, but yet the black people over here are living in mansions? How is that happening? You understand? They never want to deal with their problems. They always want to come attack us. So when you say that, why are they making threats at the HBCUs? Why are they saying stuff to black people? Why Jasmine Crockett has got a bunch of threats after this, right? Jasmine Crockett had nothing to do with this. I checked out her Breakfast Club interview, and she said she didn't got a gang of threats after this. And she had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, because the only person I knew she kind of cussed out was Elon Musk, but I never heard her say nothing about Charlie Kirk. So why are you threatening Jasmine Crockett? Why are you pivoting to black people? You understand what I'm saying? See, that's why I don't like to hear no talk from other groups, other immigrants. No, notice they didn't pivot to Hispanics. They didn't pivot to Asians. That's why all that people of color crap and all this other groups need to do this and that. No, they pivot immediately to black people. They didn't pivot to Africans. They didn't pivot to Caribbeans. Immediately pivot to us. That's what they do. They never want to confront their issues. And that alone, not confronting their issues, is what they're talking about. Their numbers. That's what's getting rid of your numbers, is you not confronting your issues. They were talking very, very greasy before this guy was captured. Now, since he's captured, all their conversation got different now. Trump was talking about radical left and all, but Trump was just going in about that, right? Then they capture him and they like, oh, well, I mean, this is sad. And I'm like, what I have learned about that culture, they have a rule. It don't matter what horrific thing that they do, you do not openly condemn it. You don't. It don't matter who you do it to, who they do it to. And a lot of them like Charlie Kirk. I would think that they would really be just on the same energy. Why are you turning energy to black people when you should be turning it to your own community and say, wait a minute, hold on, what are we doing in this community? Why are we doing all this? It's no discussion. Remember, on the X post, they turn to black people. It don't matter what black people doing, because black people had nothing to do with that. Remember, this happened in Utah, a white state. Utah, okay? This happened on a university that black, it's not HBCU. There were 3,000 people at this event. And what happens at these events, they always describe that, people like that's in the chat over there. They describe when we're not around, that's safety. That's why they move away from us and all of that. That's what they say. We move around. That's why they have what they call a phenomenon, a white flight, because they say we want to get away from black people, right? Or the blacks, they like to say. We want to get away from the blacks because we're safer. We're afraid of them. Okay, fine. You're afraid. No problem. But then you get around your own and you're still dealing with crime. Because the way people like them think is that, oh, well, if it's a white utopia, there's never going to be any crimes. Okay, well, there's white utopias in Europe. Places like Eastern Europe, like Serbia, there's hardly no black people in Serbia. And they go holler at the Serbian police. Just go holler at them and see if they deal with any crime. Poland is another country that's very homogenous white. Go ask those police, do they deal with crime? Let's take it to the United States. Wyoming, very white. Utah, very white. Very, very, very white. Why don't you go ask the police departments in Utah, do they deal with any kind of crime? Because that's a white enclave. Montana is another one. Maine is another one. Go ask all those police departments, do they have, according to them, they shouldn't even need a prison. They shouldn't even need a jail because it's mostly them. And like I say, and then when you tell them that, well, Chicago. Have you been to Chicago? You always talk about Chicago. Have you been? I've been to Chicago twice, actually. Last year? I went twice. And I'm definitely got to go back again. I am going back to Chicago in 2026, that's for sure. And every time I go to Chicago, I enjoy myself. Great people in Chicago. I hate when they do all that Chicago propaganda. Because Chicago mean black people. They got a bunch of Latinos that got gangs over there in Chicago, but they never talk about the Latino gangs that's shooting each other too. Just the black people. White people got gangs. Asians got gangs. Everybody got gangs. You think about Chicago, that was a white mobster town. It wasn't black people. How you go from white mobster, it's the blacks, Chicago. That's a talking point. If they actually can afford to go to Chicago, because some of them can't, if you actually can afford to go to Chicago, you will see how nice of a city Chicago is. Talking down on Chicago. I hate that stupid crap. Hey, he would have been safer in Chicago. You're right. I think Charlie Kirk, if he would have went to one university in Chicago, matter of fact, I know he would have been much safer in Chicago. He would have been. Matter of fact, if he was actually going to HBCUs. Listen, a person like Charlie Kirk could have went to HBCUs if he wasn't so incendiary. Like, you can have black people don't mind if you have a difference of opinion. You could be a conservative, but there's conservatives that have their opinion and they're not incendiary and just come out as like racist in their talking points. But they disagree on some things. Black people don't have no problem debating conservatives. That's not a problem. But when you come up here saying, well, I saw a black person and I was wondering if they were qualified, but you didn't say that about a white person? Let's call it what it is. All these plane crashes that was happening when Trump first got in office and all those problems, it wasn't no black pilots. Why didn't you say that about it? But then I think it's the one that had a woman on it. Oh, it was DEI, a white woman. Oh, it was DEI. Let me tell you about that DEI thing. And I keep repeating that affirmative action. They love to talk about affirmative action. If you was to hire me at Houston Methodist Hospital to be a doctor, and you hired me because I'm black, that's the only reason you hired me is because I'm black, and you hired me to be a cardiologist, and that's what got me in the door only, not my education, nothing else, just because I'm black. Now I'm Dr. Phillip Scott in cardiology. So then they say, well, Dr. Phillip, we got a patient in here, having heart problems. And then I would go in there and I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with you? Oh, this problem, that problem. I'm like, man, let me look this up. What is this? And you're like, why are you on your phone so much? Why are you asking ChatGPT about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you keep asking people? You don't know? And then eventually people find out I had no knowledge to have that job. And then I will get let go because I have no knowledge. Okay? That's what Charlie Kirk was saying about DEI. That people that basically didn't belong in that position got in that position. But affirmative action, DEI, whatever, was supposed to be, let's give opportunities to black people and others to get in here and let them, listen, if you can't do the job, you can't do the job. You're going to be fired. It's just bottom line. So they're mad that, and Charlie Kirk said this, I even heard it this morning. He said that DEI positions was taking a white person's spot. And he said in colleges, a white person and an Asian person's spot. So that's how he felt. Any black person that was like in any higher, like management, any kind of job where you make a lot of money, you only got there because of affirmative action or DEI, and you took a white person's spot. I mean, this is what he was saying. You took a white person's spot. He said that. And you basically don't belong there because it belongs to white people. But this is a guy that you want people to have empathy for, but Charlie Kirk himself said that he didn't believe in empathy. Empathy is a new age word. So according to Charlie Kirk's own ideology, you can't have empathy because he didn't believe in that. So you'll be disrespecting his memory, right? That's what he said. So, and Charlie Kirk liked the debate of ideas, right? So there you go. Now, some more of Charlie Kirk's followers, this is what they're doing now. Remember when I said, oh, now y'all trying to become liberals? Let me show you something else. What I meant by that let me get to my other screen here. Let me switch over. Let's go right here. Okay. So this is out of the Houston Chronicle right here. It said Texas Democrat under fire for Kirk comment, but another man pays the price. It says so confusion over a shared name leads to threats, fear, and online outrage aimed at the wrong Renee Sands. All right. So it said a Texas man says he's receiving threatening messages and even suggested to enter the witness protection, all because he shares a name with the local Democratic Party official days after a high-profile shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. It said the man, Renee Sands, it said posted in the North Padre Islanders, it's a community Facebook group to clarify that he is not affiliated with the Nueces County Democratic Party. Okay, that's in the Valley. Yeah, okay, Nueces County. I knew exactly what that said. And so it has no connection to the events surrounding Kirk's death. He said, I just saw this on my feed after I got a call from a number I didn't know. He said, then a text came saying I needed witness protection. I was like, what the hell? He said, then I see this. That most definitely is not me. He said, so the confusion stems from the controversial statements made by the Democratic chair, also named Renee Sands. He say his name uses accents. He said, okay, all of that. So what he said in the post, live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what he said. So technically, they say, let's make him famous here and all of this, right? Okay, cool. So basically when people saying that statement is basically, well, you supported the Second Amendment. He did make this is a true, he made the statement that, if some people have to pass away to maintain the Second Amendment, well, they're just, one of those things, right? That's what, so why is it, I'm just trying to figure out, I don't understand. So it say the unrelated has no political affiliation. It say it lives on North Padre Island, quickly became an unintended target of backlash and all that. Okay, basically now they're getting people fired from their jobs now. So the questions I have about some of that, are they becoming liberals? Because isn't that tactics that liberals do? Like trying to silence speech. Liberals believe in cancel culture, right? Liberals, that's what they believe in. Liberals believe in censorship, right? That's what liberals believe in. I'm going off of what they have always said for years, and they have detested censorship. They have detested cancel culture. They detested all of that. But with this situation now, everybody's starting to turn into liberals. That's why I asked that guy that question. Are you a liberal now? And he ain't like when I asked him that, because that's liberal talk, right? That's not, look, you can't basically want censorship and clamp down on speech when it doesn't suit you. Freedom of speech means it's free. See, now I'm gonna put black people in it. When black people say, hey man, it should be not illegal for y'all to say the N-word. Oh, no, freedom of speech. How you gonna say something like that? Why should it even be considered a hate crime to say the N-word? It's free speech, right? Didn't Elon Musk get X talking about freedom of speech and all this other stuff? I'm gonna have freedom of speech, and now everybody's mad about freedom of speech now? So when you're saying all that vile stuff about people, they got to accept it because it's freedom of speech. But when they say something about somebody that you hold dear to your heart, now you believe in cancel culture? You believe in deplatforming? You believe in all that? Well, it sounds like to me you just as liberal as the liberals. right? I mean, I've heard Charlie Kirk enough to know that he didn't support that. So y'all gonna become liberals in Charlie Kirk's name? It's just a question I have for some of you out there. You gonna become a liberal? Well, if that's the case, you might well go vote for whoever the Democrats put up then if you want to be a liberal, because they'll do it for you. They'll bring in the gun control. They'll bring in all the cancel culture you want. They'll bring in all the censorship. Man, Democrats love that. So it sounds like a lot of you about to become Democrats. That's what it sounds like. Then a lot of you online is making threats and all of that. Now don't y'all think that's quite interesting? Because if there were black people making those kind of threats they making online and holding guns and all that, y'all know good and well it'll be the FBI at our freaking door. The state police or somebody police be at our freaking door because of what trust me, if black people was making those kind of threats they've been making online, we would have gotten all kind of trouble. But they literally making threats online. They're talking about civil war and all this other stuff. Like, if we would be saying that mess, we'll be getting put in handcuffs. When we talk about white privilege, that's what we're talking about. You could say whatever you want and nobody bothers you. But if we say that, black folks with the situation with Michael Johnson was getting visits. Gavin Long and all them guys, when they was doing all those shootings, black folks was getting visits when they even was freaking viewers of your YouTube channel. Black folks was getting visits. When you made a comment about that case at the time, black folks was getting visits. You understand? But they literally now they're literally threatening. They're making open threats, and I don't hear them getting visits. But I'm gonna tell black folks something. Stay out of that. Let them do what they want to do. Stay out of it. Hey, if we got to go back to the pandemic style and just kind of lock ourselves down, you know what I'm saying? To stay out their way. Stay out their way. It is not whatever they decide to do with each other. Let them have it, because one thing I know, and we already see it, they're not going to deal with each other. So if we're around, they're going to target us. If we're not around, they target themselves. But if you understand European history, that's what it was. They always were fighting each other in Europe. And then when they start coming around us and other people, then that's when they stop attacking each other and start attacking and colonizing and enslaving and all that other stuff at the places they had colonized, right? So introducing us and others kind of kept them from fighting each other so much. But we're not around, they have to deal with each other. So I'm telling black folk, stay out of the way. Stay out of their stuff. Just stay out of the way. Because we're supposed to be resting anyway. We don't supposed to be getting involved in a mess. The rest period is still on. The relaxing and vacation and all that is still on. Shoot, you got different holidays coming up. You want to celebrate that? That's fine. Spend time with your family, friends, whatever. But stay away from that. Let me show you something else. More division. Let me pull up this division here on the screen. Here, okay. This was written. What day was this written? This was written today, actually. Okay. This is Trump declines to call for unity after Charlie Kirk killing in stunning moves. The president tells Fox News the radicals on the left are the problem and refuse to seek a common way forward. Now, why is that an issue? Well, when the nation is broken apart or divided, it's the president's job to mend that, because, a divided kingdom cannot stand. We know that from the scriptures, right? But Trump is like, I don't care about that. Now, they say Donald Trump has declined the call for the U.S. to come together and say, as a way of fixing the country's divisions in the wake of the assassination of his close associate, the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, preferring to cast vicious and horrible radicals on the left of U.S. politics as the sole problem. They say in an interview on Fox and Friends Friday morning, U.S. President was asked what he intends to do to heal the wound of Kirk's shooting in Utah. He said, how do we fix this country? How do we, come back together? He was asked by the show's co-host, Ainsley Earnhardt, who commented that there were radicals operating on the left and right of U.S. politics less than 48 hours after Kirk was shot in the broad daylight. It's on the campus of Utah Valley University. Trump replied, I tell you something, that is going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. He went on to say the radicals on the left the radicals on the right are radical because they don't want to see crime. The radicals on the left are the problem. He said, and they are vicious and horrible and politically savvy. They want men and women's sports. They want transgender for everyone. They want open borders, the worst thing that happened to this country. They said Trump's refusal to see common bipartisan way forward at a time of profound national anger, fear, and mourning, it was a stunning move for a sitting U.S. president, even by his standards. They said the U.S. has a long history of presidents using their rhetorical powers to try to overcome political fissures. The pinnacle, perhaps, was Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address toward the end of the Civil War, in which he sought to bind up the nation's wounds and made a point of striving for unity with malice toward none, with charity for all. Okay? Now, let's talk about that. What Trump did, that's not good for those of you who want to, and I was wondering, I don't know if y'all seen this or not. Hold on. It made perfect sense why they did this. Let me pull them up real quick. Hold on. I know y'all, this lady has a lot of fans. Hold on, give me a second. I just saw this the other day. And let me go ahead and hit news. All right. This is in the UK news. All right, let me go here. I want y'all to see something real quick that I just came across my radar. Carter's take Cotswolds. Beyonce and Jay-Z received planning permission to build a spectacular rural estate in the Cotswolds that locals hit out. So basically, Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to build a home over there. It sounds like they about to relocate. So they say after the Beckham family, Ellen DeGeneres is now reported the power couple Beyonce and Jay-Z are in the final stages of purchasing the 58 acres of land. It's on the outskirts of Wigginton. Okay. So they said the pair, who declared the richest celebrity couple, have reportedly received planning permission to build a spectacular rural estate. And if they go ahead with the plans, they won't be far from the Great Two, to say, which is already home to huge names in the showbiz world. However, the previous backlash, from villagers over disturbances by high-profile moves, as the jury is out on whether Beyonce, 44, and Jay-Z, 55, will be accepted by the local community. They said, resident told Mail Online, I don't give a flying toss. They said, before adding that his wife has seen a couple head into Buford Garden Center in Range Rover. Say, when someone points them out to my wife, her first reaction is to ask who they are. Said some of these so-called celebrities I've never actually heard of. I said another resident, who works at Great Two Village Pub, Falkland Arms, told us that we love our local clientele. We don't want the couple's arrival to bring in a different sort. It was previously claimed that Beyonce and Jay-Z began looking for a home in England after the LA wildfires. Okay. They say they've always been based in LA, but the UK is on the agenda. Beyonce loves the UK because they support everything she does. Now, look, they already being racist towards y'all. See, I don't understand. Y'all. Let me go. Let me switch. I gotta switch gears on this for a minute. That annoys me. Let me tell you why that annoys me. Not that they want to move. That's not my problem. It's where they want to move to. The people already got a problem with y'all. Y'all haven't even got there. Like, why do y'all want to subject yourself to that when you got money? Man, if I had that kind of money, like Beyonce making $500 million on a tour, whatever the case may be, man, look, please, at minimum, I probably would have been in the Caribbean somewhere, at minimum, maybe Aruba or something. And the reason why I keep talking about Aruba so much is because Aruba don't get hurricanes. All the other parts of the Caribbean do. And if not there, I'll be in the African continent. Like, why in the world would I be I refuse to subject myself to racism. Not when you got money, you don't supposed to be dealing with racism. And why would you go move somewhere? Look at how they treated Meghan Markle. She had white. Look at how they treated her. Why would you go move over there around them people? I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. I would not be there. I don't care what celebrities stay over there. I won't do it. I'm like, man, take me to Africa. I'm going to get the flies because, trust me, they probably could have got 300 acres over there. They could have got 400 acres of land and had, talking about a compound, man, they could have had so many things over there, like for the money. Like, man, why would y'all move over there? I don't know, man. Some black people I notice, they love being around them folks, man, because they got money. They don't have to be around them folks like that. They don't have to. They don't have to. I think that would have been a bigger thing if they would have moved to an African country and got 400 or 500 acres of land and just built their spot. They'd have let them come over there with no problem. And I'm not saying they got to move anywhere it's not amenities. Like, so they could have went to a Nairobi or Johannesburg. They could have went to Namibia. I forgot the capital city. They could have went to Botswana. That's another good economy. It's a whole lot of places they could have went to that would have some good weather, good food, and we didn't have to be dealing with these people. And they got private jets, so they could fly back to the U.S. anytime they get good and ready. They ain't got to wait on no freaking airport or whatever. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But regardless, I don't get it. They want to leave. They want to leave the United States. They say it's the wildfires, but no, it's the politics too. Because Jay-Z and Beyonce don't like the politics. And they're like, you know what? I'm done. And the route this country is going, you're going to see more and more of them getting homes in other countries if they don't have it already. Why? Because why would you subject yourself to this craziness in this country? Why? If you got the money, why would you put your children in that kind of situation? Because people say, oh, stand and fight. Listen, I fight all day long, but I'm not fighting stuff between them. I fight for us, but I'm not getting in the midst of their stuff. That's their battle. Don't drag me into it. I've been saying that. I am not fighting for them. We as black people have fought enough for them. And look at how we've been treated ever since. They have never respected us for fighting for them. We'll come home, World War II, World War I, and they'll have a big mob, and they'll do you know what, because I can't say it on this platform, they'll do you know what to us in our uniforms. Okay? We went overseas and fought for these people and served this country. Look at it with the Revolutionary War. We fought for them then. Oh, well, hey, we get you out of slavery, you come fight with us, for us. They go fight and they put them right back in slavery. No, we don't need to fight no wars for them. They internal beefs. If they talking about the radical left and the right, stay out of that. Stay out. Okay, Wisdom says Bahamas, Ghana, Nigeria. Hold on. Start a small restaurant by the beach in Africa. Say hire locals, come back. It's in 2028. Have homes in other areas. Say we need to wake up some of our ball players too. Well, it's not just the ball players. I mean, all of that. Trust me, because they got the means to go, but it's more so the regular people. Sometimes the regular people just need to, those of you who can afford to just travel and just see what's up. I tell people, just make relationships. If anything, I've seen black people who's not rich go buy an apartment over there. And you can own the apartment. I think there's one spot I went to in Kenya, I'll never forget it. They were selling apartments for like $28,000. $28,000, that's your apartment. Like, nobody gonna take it. It's yours in a nice environment that I saw, or whatever. So I'm just saying, people can say all that, well, this don't run. I'm like, look, I am not fighting they wars. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, I fight for black people all day long. If it's about us, I'll fight. But they mess? No. Because I didn't create their mess. Black people had nothing to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. So why should we be getting involved in the midst or somewhere in the middle of that mess? No. Now, I'm sure Beyonce, and them don't have that kind of problem. But you get to a point, Beyonce's 44, Jay-Z 55. I could tell you part of it, probably why they did it. You get to a point, because Jay-Z and Beyonce see all this stuff that's going on, right? Beyonce from Houston. You just get to an age, you get tired of that racism. Now, people can say, well, you never escape white supremacy. Well, they're not escaping white supremacy because they're going to move into white supremacy. They're going to move into OG white supremacy, so they're not leaving for that reason. But maybe they can deal with it just a little less, maybe in the UK. I don't know. Of course, they're not going to treat them like the average black person either. That being said. But, I wouldn't move to no UK. Nope. Nowhere in Europe I would move. I move to China before I go over there. You say you go to UK or China. Okay, I'll go to China. Take me to Beijing. You know what I'm saying? If I can't go to Africa, China or the Philippines, something, Thailand, something. I wouldn't want to be nowhere near them folks in Europe. No. But for me, I prefer to be in the African continent. I'm gonna go anywhere else. I'm just saying. Okay, that's why I'm at with it. But don't get in these folks' business. Do not get in their business. I'm warning you. Don't like my grandpa say. He always said 2 white sheets don't fade on another. Now, what he meant by that is they would never turn on each other, okay? Especially when we were around. They would never do it. He told me that as a child. And I never forgot it. And from what I've seen, he's never wrong. They have never turned on each other for me or you. They've never done it. So stay out their mix because they fight. Because he told me, when they fighting each other, he always said stay out of that. Because the moment you enter the mix, they're going to stop fighting each other and fight you together. He always told me that. Stay out of their business. So I'm going to follow the rules of my grandpa. I don't get involved in their business. Nope. But if you're propagandizing my community because I'm doing media, well, then I have to kind of clap back on that because it's my job to. But if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't have nothing to say about none of it. Yeah. You say much just like Oprah said. Remember when she went shopping in that store and they kicked her out? Yeah, like they don't care how much money you got, and a lot of them don't even know you. Be honest with you. It's like, why subject yourself to that? Some black people just think that, I made it because I can go shopping around them. Look, I'll go to the Mall of Africa in Johannesburg and be happy all day long over going over there to their stuff. The Mall of Africa is nice. It's a very nice mall. I'll go over there. Forget them. None against them, but when they say, they ever told me, well, you can go back to Africa. I'm like, hey, shoot, give me my reparations. I'll leave today. That's not hurting me telling me that at this stage in the game. It's not hurting me because I get way more peace when I'm over there. I don't get no peace over here. Every other day, somebody got to dodge a bullet. That's not peace. The children in this country can't even go to school because they worrying about what they go do because they putting guns in the hands of small children at 4 or 5 years old, and they've been holding a gun all that time. That's not no peace. Always fighting, like that race. Like, trust me, you don't realize how sickening racism is until you get out of it for a time. Get out of it for 10 days. and then come back into it. You don't realize how dumb that is. Like, wait a minute, hold on. You're not liking me because of a skin color? That's why you don't like me? Not because I did you something personally, because of a skin color? Like, that's dumb. It's dumb. And I was telling my wife, I said, I got my limits to all this stuff. I got certain time windows that I want to have. I say, okay, my bag should be at this point, at this stage in life, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like this. LaSherica can argue with y'all. I'm talking about the folks. I seen some people arguing with LaSherica yesterday. I thought that was kind of funny. You arguing with LaSherica. That's so funny. You mad at what LaSherica says? That is funny to me. I get a kick out of that one. Oh, you argue with LaSherica all day. What you gonna do, get mad at her and call her phone? What you gonna do, try to get her fired from her job? Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. Well, y'all can call LaSherica if you want to, I guess. You can call her. You know, but I will tell you, it's safe to say LaSherica's job is very secure. I promise you that. You can't. Ain't nobody going on North Africa. Why would I want to go there? No, For me, it's more so east, southern part. And that's kind of, I just feel where my heart's at. It's just the southern part in the eastern part. So that's that. All right. It's about almost that time. It's almost that time, y'all. So you say you've been listening to Malcolm X all day? Good. Because Malcolm was talking. You think he living in 2025. You know why you feel like he's talking to you in 2025? It tells you that their culture never changed. They don't have a progressive culture. We have a progressive culture, but they don't. That's why you can listen to Dr. King way back when, and you're thinking, man, he's talking like he living in 2025. Because their culture has not changed. They doing the same thing they were doing back in the 1960s. That's why I teach y'all, this is a culture. This is a culture. This is a culture. That's why nothing has changed. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us on the stream tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. And thank y'all for listening. And we'll catch you on the next one.